the channel, and we are going to talk about Epiphone guitars. Now, as the title says, has Epiphone guitars gotten too expensive, or they're just getting that much better? So we're going to dive into this. We're going to talk about this. I've got some specs for some guitars, for some of the new guitars that dropped, and I've got a pretty good selection of Epiphones sitting here that I own. This isn't all of them. I actually have a couple more. I've got a Joan Jett Signature Series over there, and then I've got a Epiphone Les Paul Standard Pro that's still in a case up there that I just didn't have room to lay it out to get it all to fit in here so I could hold one and have these standing up like they are. So let's get into this. Let's talk about it. So Epiphone has just dropped a bunch of new guitars, and as you guys have been seeing over the past few years, Epiphone prices have been going up. Now, the question is, are these guitars now still worth the price that they're asking? Because not only have the prices been going up, but the specs on the guitars have been going up as well. And we want to kind of dive into that. I want to dive into that stuff to ask yourself, are Epiphones really worth the price that they're going for in today's market? Now, we've got a very wide range of prices of Epiphones sitting here currently right now. I've got this Epiphone that I've had. This is a 2002 Epiphone Les Paul Standard, and it's been an amazing guitar. This thing is hefty as can be. I've almost sold it a few times, but I just can't bring myself to do it because it's 22 years old. It's still a great playing and sounding guitar, and that's why I wanted to play this one over the newer one so you guys could hear an older one in the intro, just so you can see that, for me, Epiphone has been in my life ever since I've been playing guitars. Although I've had a couple Gibsons around, Gibson Les Pauls around that I have had in the past, I ended up getting rid of those and just sticking with Epiphone. Epiphone has been really good to me over the years. I know some people some people love them, some people hate them, some people love to hate them, some people have a love-hate relationship with them. It's kind of like with Gibson. But I just kind of want to go over this and talk about the prices, because when you look at like this guitar, when I bought this guitar, I got it used. I paid $300 for this plus a guitar case. So with the guitar case, it was $425 altogether for this guitar. Now you can't get something like that on the market, because even on the used market, Epiphones are going for a pretty good penny. I mean, they're even the older ones are still holding their value pretty well. I just currently looked on Reverb, and really the prices are holding steady with these guitars, especially now with the new ones coming out that are costing so much more. It seems like people are looking for sometimes the older ones because they don't want to spend $1,200 to $1,400, $1,500 on an Epiphone. Now, I will talk about, like I said, this guitar was $300. I've got the purple burst right there, which I love, which I bought several years ago as well. It's the Les Paul Classic. It's got the worn back on. It's the worn finish. I love that guitar. It has split coils. Really awesome guitar, and I just bought it because you rarely see, number one, I like the Epiphone Les Paul, but number two, you rarely see a Les Paul in purple, especially in a purple burst. So I thought that was awesome. That's a great guitar. It actually hangs on my wall in here in the studio all the time, but I wanted to take it down so you can see it. Here I got the Tommy Thayer Epiphone Les Paul. This thing is amazing. I have not done a review on that, but I will. But that one is $450. The Tommy Thayer is the Signature Series, which is, I think it was $8.99 for that. Comes with a case, though. Really nice case. I've got the Signature Series Lizzie Hale Epiphone Les Paul Explorer, which is amazing. And I am so glad I got this guitar. And I wish I had bought it when it first came out, because I'd have saved myself a few $100s. But I still got a pretty decent price for it considering what they're going for today. There's only 3,000 of those made. Pretty happy. And then I've got a Signature Series / Epiphone Les Paul. And we know the whole deal with that because there was a love-hate thing that went on with that when it came out. But I love mine. It's a great guitar. They're all stock. I haven't done anything to them. I've got an Epiphone Signature Series Joan Jett over there. A big fan of Joan Jett's. That's basically the only reason why I bought the guitar, because it's not really my style guitar. But I thought it'd be cool to have a Signature Series Joan Jett in my guitar collection, and that's why I got it. It still sounds really good, but it's just not my style guitar. So it kind of sits over there on the rack and looks pretty. But anyway, and then I've got the Les Paul Standard Pro. So big variety of prices, because when the Slash came out, they were $8.99 with a case. When the Lizzie Hale came out, I think it was $7.99 or $8.99. I think it was $7.99, but correct me if I'm wrong down in the comments. It's $7.99 or $8.99, and it did come with a signature case. when I bought this one, I did not get the case. I got this one for $1,100 used on Reverb, and all the other ones I've seen are going for $1,500 or more. So I went ahead and jumped on it because this one is mint condition. Did not have the case. I ended up getting just an Epiphone Explorer case for it, and I love this guitar. It's a great guitar, and I'll never sell it. I mean, I love it, and I'm a big fan of Lizzie Hale's. But with the new ones, and we're going to talk about that. And as I'm talking about the new ones, I'm going to pop up some pictures of the new ones up here as well. Kind of go over some of the specs and prices of what Epiphone's doing, because the question is, you know, are they worth the money now? Because they're breaking over the $1,000 mark, you know. And you look at some of these other ones, which we'll talk about the signature ones as well. But I want to talk about the new ones that came out. So I got to grab my phone real quick, so I kind of cover some specs for you guys and kind of dive into this. So let's go into this. I got specs that I saved on my phone, so I can kind of cover this for you guys. I got to pull my glasses off so I can read this stuff because it's tiny as crap. But let's go back to the beginning. So let's talk about the Epiphone 1959 Les Paul standard reissue releases that are coming. They're like inspired by Gibson ones that have come out. These things are running $12.99. Like I said, the pictures will be rolling up here while I'm talking about it. And we're going to read the specs off of these things because this guitar is $1,299. I don't remember if they come with a case or not. I probably should have looked at that, but you guys can tell me down below if it does come with a case, or I will research it when I get done with this. But let's read the specs for $12.99. What are you getting? All right, you're getting a recreated 1959 Gibson Les Paul with extensive upgrades courtesy of Gibson Custom Shop. Mahogany body. You're getting a AAA flame maple top. That you're getting a long tendon mahogany neck with a supported 59 rounded C profile, 24.75 inch scale length, Laurel finger fretboard, 2 Gibson custom bucker pickups in the PAF style. You're getting a bound fingerboard and top, deluxe inlays, and Gibson 59 styles headstock. You're getting premium hardware, including a Gibson Custom Shop historic reissue tailpiece and a new ABR style bridge. Upgraded vintage style wiring, switchcraft toggle, switchcraft output jack, 50 specs wiring, CTS pots, and Mallory 150 Mallory 150 capacitors. So that's the specs on these guitars that are coming out. They've got them in like 3 different colors. Like I said, it's up here, spinning around for you. But that guitar is $1,299. So then, you know, Gibson moves into the, they've got the Carina Explorer and the Carina V that has come out too. Like I said, I got this Explorer right here, Lizzie Hale. I've always liked the Explorer guitars. I have a Hetfield Snakebite Explorer body type as well. Love that guitar. But I'm going to read you the Epiphone 1958 Carina Explorer and V specs as well, and they'll be spinning around up here as well somewhere on the screen so you guys can see those. And these guitars are running $12.99 as well. I think they come with the case. I'm not sure. I will put a thing that says it has a case or not on these, just so you guys know. I'll have to go back and look and make sure they have cases or don't have cases. But still, $1,299 guitar, and it's an Epiphone. So these are the inspired recreation of 1958 Gibsons. It says radical looking body yields a resonant sound. Top shelf mahogany. The neck vaunts in period correct neck shape and long neck tendon for spot on vintage feel and playability. Indian Laurel fingerboard and inconspicuous pearl dot inlays. It's got Gibson burst buckers in it. It's got the Mallory caps and the CTS pots. It's got ABR1 bridge, locking tone, stop bar, tailpiece. And that's the specs for the Carinas that are coming out for $12.99 within the Epiphone line. Now, I gotta move on to, let's see here. That was those. I gotta scroll through here because I got so many different ones that I saved. So yeah, so let's go back to That was the reissue for $12.99. Now we're going to go to the limited edition. This was the limited edition that they released it a little while back, and there's a few still available. This is the Epiphone 1959 Les Paul Standard limited edition, and here's one up here, and it has the limited edition plate on the back. This was the spec for these. These are $9.99. They originally came out, they were like $8.99, but now they're $9.99. So this was the limited edition one that they came out with. They came out with a couple different colors, and hopefully I'll have those up here for you guys too. It says inspired by the iconic 1959 Gibson Les Paul, American-made Gibson U.S. Burstbucker pickups. It's got the PAF goodness for the pickups. It's got the Mallory 150 polyester film tone capacitor, supply a warm mellow response. CTS pots, switchcraft toggle and jack, and are rated for years of dependable performance. AAA flame maple top, full weight mahogany back. Rounded medium C mahogany neck, nails the speed and hand feel of a 59. Age gloss finish, reminiscent of Gibson's VOS finishes. Two pneumatic bridge, Epiphone Vintage Deluxe tuners. And that's for the limited edition one they did. And that's pretty much the same thing as $12.99. This one does come with a case, I know for a fact. And that's pretty much the same thing on the new ones that they came out for $12.99. So, I don't know, specs, you guys will have to decide what you think about that. Honestly, for me, I think I would go for the limited edition over the newer ones because you're going to save yourself $300, you know. But that's my opinion. Now let's get into. Let's talk about some of the. Before I go into these, let's talk about the fact that on top of those new ones that they've come out with, they've got all these signature guitars like Slash, Lizzie Hale, Tommy Thayer, Joan Jett, Adam Jones, Jerry Cantrell, you got Dave Mustaine, Alex Lifeson, and a host of other people that have released signature guitars under the Epiphone brand. And they're all running in that, currently the Slash ones that you can get on Sweetwater are running $7.99, so they actually have lowered the price on those. They're running a sale right now. But they're all running, between that, $800 all the way up to, and Kurt Hammett, you got Kurt Hammett's Greenie and his signature ones that he's released as well. And you've got all these guitars, but you're talking between $800 and almost like $1,500. Actually, I think there's the Firebird that they came out with, I don't think I've got a picture of, is actually running almost $1,600. So when you get into those price ranges, you're just like, wow, what's going on, But the question is, are the upgrades that they're doing in the Epiphone guitars worth the price that they're starting to charge for them? I personally think, Epiphone is really knocking it out of the park with what they're doing. They're really bringing the brand to the forefront with Epiphone because they're adding all these great specs to these guitars. But for me, I've always loved Epiphone. Like this one right here is just a stock standard that's 22 years old. It holds tune real well, plays really good, and has lasted a lifetime, and it sounds great. I've never seen enough of a difference between the sound of an Epiphone and a Gibson to care, especially when the specs were so similar, And you can do a few upgrades yourself when you get them and still have a really nice guitar for a lot less price. Because when you look at the Gibson prices, which we can talk about real quick, I'm going to read you some Gibson specs because I figured you guys would be like, well, what about the Gibsons? What do they compare for? For a comparable Gibson, and this will be the, let's go here because I saved a few of them. I did 3. We'll start off with the lowest price one that you can get currently, is the Les Paul Studio, and I just did the Modern. I don't know if there's one that's a little bit lower, but I just found the Modern, which they had on Sweetwater. And these are the specs for a Gibson Les Paul Modern. Now, understand that these guitars, these Les Paul Moderns are going for $1,999. That's where they start at. And so you've got Les Paul Studio Ultra Modern Weight Relief Mahogany Body, Maple Top, Slim Taper Mahogany Neck, High Contoured Neck, heel grants uninhibited access to the upper frets, 12 to 16 inch radius fingerboard, hard hitting Gibson 49R and 49.8 humbuckers, with your PF pickups, stop. And then you've got coil splits, funky phase switch, pure bypass option, rock solid Grover tuners, Keystone buttons, aluminum Nashville Tune-O-Matic bridge, sleek nucleus lacquer finish, and that's what it has on the specs for those. But they're starting at $2,000 pretty much. And then when you go to a comparison of like a 50s Gibson Les Paul Standard, they start at $27.99. And the specs for those, these are features, is mahogany body, maple top, gloss nitrocellulose lacquer finish, mahogany neck, 50s profile, rosewood fingerboard, 24.75 inch scale, I think 22 jumbo French. Bridge pickup is a burst bucker, neck pickup burst bucker 1, bridge pickup burst bucker 2, hand wired electronics with orange drop capacitors, 3-way pickup selector, ABR 1 Tune-O-Matic bridge, got a Graphtec nut, vintage deluxe tuning machine, single action truss rod. But those start at $27.99. So if you're looking at a Les Paul Standard here, Slash for $7.99, to get the comparable one, actually for the Slash one, I'll actually tell you what the comparable one is, because I actually got the comparable price tags. The Gibson Slash Les Paul Standard, which would be his signature one like this one, starts at $29.99, and these are the specs on that. It's got a mahogany body, AAA flame maple top, C-shaped neck, custom burst buckers, Alnico 2 pickups, delivers Slash's trademark sustain, crunch, and mid-range, hand-wired harness with orange drop capacitors. You've got Scully signature, and it's got a hard shell case that comes with it because it's a Slash signature. But that's $3,000 for the equivalent, Epiphone to Gibson. And then I pulled one other one up for the 60 standard. That's a 60 standards Les Paul. And then on that one, those are $27.99 as well. And they are going, it's mahogany body double A top. It's got a mahogany neck, rosewood fingerboard, 12-inch radius, trapezoid inlays, Pleak Pro fret treatment, 24.75 scale inch length, 22 medium WO frets, 60s burst bucker, humbuckers, hand-wired electronics, orange top drop capacitors, 3-way pickup selector, ABR 1 Tune-O-Matic bridge, Graphtec nut, Grover Rotomatic tuning machines, and single action truss rod. So those are the Gibsons versus the Epiphones. So I want to get all that. And I know it's a lot. You got to dive in. It's a lot of information. But for me, when I look at the comparisons, I don't see enough of a difference. And I'll say this enough. I don't see enough of a difference between the Epiphone and Gibsons to justify the Gibson price tags other than it's made in America. And the problem is that Epiphone's quality control has gotten better, where Gibson's quality control is still shit. And if you guys go watch videos of people reviewing some of these guitars, they're buying $3,000-$4,000 Gibsons, and then they're pointing out all the issues that this guitar has, and that should not happen in a guitar of that price range. The other thing is that most Gibsons just come with a gig bag, where a lot of these higher-end Epiphones are all coming with really nice hard shell cases, which is really nice as well. It's just a nice touch that they're doing that. So you have to just ask yourself, is it worth it, to go to the Gibson side, or would you rather have a nice high-end Epiphone, And the prices of Epiphones, you have to ask yourself, is all the improvements that they're doing with the Epiphones worth the price tag that they're putting on those Epiphones, or would you rather, just start with a Les Paul Studio? The other thing is, you can find a ton of older Les Paul Studios. I did a quick search on Reverb, from $650 to about $1,000. You can find a nice Les Paul Studio for a really reasonable a Gibson Les Paul Studio I'm talking about. Gibson Les Paul Studio on Reverb for a pretty decent price for a really good guitar. So if you're a Gibson guy, you could probably find a used one for way cheaper than what you could buy a new Epiphone. But used versus new, with the used one, you don't know what people have done to it, you know what's happened to it. You have to really do your research, and hopefully you get a decent guitar, unless you're actually able to go into a store and check it out. So those are the risk you take when buying used when you're buying online, where if you buy a new guitar online and it's broken when it shows up, you can send it back and they'll send you another one or give you a refund. So those are all those factors that you have to look into. For me, I will say this, for the not the Gibsons, for the Epiphones that I do own currently, the ones that I own currently, I have zero issues for the money that I spent on any one of them. They're well worth the money to me, and that's the ultimate thing is, as a musician, is it well worth it to you, and is it well money spent when it comes to playing? The other thing I will say is you can still find a lot of used Epiphones for reasonable prices online, so you can pick up some decent Epiphones and not break the bank as well. But it really boils down to, are you willing to spend that kind of money? I think it's great that Epiphone is stepping up, and they're putting more better pickups, better hardware, better pots, better everything into the guitars. But with that process, increases the price of the guitar. So will Epiphone eventually price itself out of the budget-friendly Les Paul market for a lot of people that want to play a Les Paul but can't afford a Gibson? And that's the thing that you have to ask yourself. And then what do you go after if you can't afford a freaking Epiphone anymore? Because, $1,200 is a chunk of change, and a lot of up-and-coming guys that are starting to play out don't have $1,200, $1,300 to drop into a guitar. They're looking in that $300 to $500 range, something that can get them into playing. And what alternative is there to that? You have to ask yourself. Now, I do have an answer for that, and I'm actually going to do another video on the guitar that is the answer for that I think is an amazing guitar that out of the box, I own two of them, and I never had to do anything with them. I've owned them for years, and now they're re-hitting the market because they just made some new colors for them. And I'm going to talk about that in another video, and I will talk about why that guitar is a great substitute, and even, in my opinion, sometimes better than some of them, because for the price and boils down to the price and the bang for buck, you're getting a really great guitar. And if you guys are curious what that guitar is, I'll give you a little hint. Be looking out for the EC256 video that I'm getting ready to do. I've done the full reviews on these guitars years ago, but I'm going to revisit it. I'm going to talk about the ones that I own. So that video will be coming. But this is all about Epiphone today. So for me, obviously, you guys can see that I like Epiphones. I own several. I actually have started moving away from the Epiphone a few years ago, and moving into well, it's more than a few years ago. Several years ago, I started getting away from the Epiphones because I found Paul Reed Smith, and I actually own 2 single-cut Paul Reed Smiths over there and 3 double-cut Paul Reed Smiths, which I love. And I'm a big fan of ESP. I've been a big fan of ESP guitars for a long time, and when I found the EC256, I fell in love with it because it's so much lighter, thinner neck, and it's just a good rock guitar. But we'll talk about that in another video. But anyway, I want to hear what your thoughts are. Do you guys think that Epiphones are getting too expensive? Do you think that Epiphone needs to find a balance to try to keep their guitars under $1,000? Or do you think it's okay that they're coming out with these guitars that are all inspired by Gibson, they're hitting this $1,200 to almost $1,600 price range? Where is the balance? You tell me where you guys think the balance would be with that, because when you increase when you add higher end tuners and higher end pickups and higher end parts to a guitar, that increases the price of the guitar and increases the cost of making it. And I know a lot of you guys are like, oh, well, they still get made in China and they still get made here. Well, the parts still cost more, and that causes it to cost more. And with our environment today, everything's more expensive. So I'm just curious what you guys think. I think Epiphone is really knocking it out of the park. I really do think they're knocking it out of the park, and I think they're doing it in a way that it's really making Gibson look like crap, personally. I mean, I would rather buy an Epiphone, a $1,200 Epiphone, than a $3,000 Gibson any day of the week. And I will take my Slash, this stock Slash, over a lot of the Gibsons that I've ever played. Now, I will say this. I did do a video on the Epiphone Greenie. And I'll tell you what, my buddy owns that guitar, and thanks to him for letting me actually do that video. But the Epiphone Greenie was a really great Epiphone and very well done, and I love that guitar. And honestly, if I'd had the money, I'd pay the price for that guitar. I think they're $1,499 if I remember. It's like $1,500. Comes with a really nice case, but man, that was a really nice guitar. And I wouldn't feel bad about paying that price. I know a lot of other people are like, oh, that's crazy. You should do this. You shouldn't do that. Well, you know, it really boils down to you if you're willing to spend the money. Me, I don't want to have to buy a guitar, take it apart, and put a whole bunch of other stuff in there. I'm going to be able to buy a guitar and just play it. I don't want to be doing a bunch of soldering work and changing all kinds of stuff and doing all that crap. I want to find a good guitar that's stock out of the box and just rock it out. And that's how I like to do things. I don't change all kinds of crap on my guitars because I'm hoping that the guitar companies that I buy from make good products. And so that's why I have the guitars that I have, because I don't have to change anything. That's why I'm a huge Schecter fan, because Schecter makes amazing guitars right out of the box. Same thing with PRS. So with that being said, I know this video is kind of long, and I kind of got long-winded in a lot of things, and I hope I covered everything I could think about in this video. There's so much to cover with Epiphone, and there still are some Epiphones that are in very reasonable price ranges. Epiphone's still got a good line of guitars that are, you know, under $600 that are well worth buying, and you should check them out because Epiphone is really doing a good job. Their quality control has gotten way better. They're doing an awesome job, and I think it's definitely, Epiphone has a good range of things, but their new guitars that are coming out are just, the prices are getting up there, but the quality is up there as well. And once you start increasing those things, the prices go up, and hopefully they'll keep doing the quality they are doing. Because if you look at these guitars that come out, especially a lot of the signature guitars that are coming out, they're really knocking it out of the park with these guitars. And the price reflects what is going on with Epiphone. I just don't want to see Epiphone get so expensive that the average guy that's coming out can't afford an Epiphone anymore. Because I do like Epiphones. I do. That's why I still own so many. And that's why I'm holding on to the ones that I do have, because the prices are getting more expensive and they're going to outprice me soon. So anyway, I'd love to hear what you guys' thoughts are about the whole Epiphone thing and the new line of guitars that are coming out and the prices that they're coming out with as well. And, you know, tell me about the Epiphones that you do own, which ones that you like. You know, like I said, the oldest one I have is this one right here that I played in the beginning. This thing is this is a 2002 Epiphone Les Paul Standard that I've had for a very, very long time. And it's still a great guitar, and I'm not going to sell it. I'm just going to hold on to it. I love it. It kind of gives me the Ace Frehley vibes. So, yeah, and I'm a big fan of Kiss. So, anyway. So, that's all I got for you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'd love to hear your thoughts down below about the direction that Epiphone's headed in, the price-cost difference that's going on with Epiphone right now with these higher-end guitars. If you agree with it, if you don't agree with it, if you wish they wouldn't be going so high. I know we want great spec guitars, but when you go for the great spec guitars, that increases the expense of it. Me personally, I like good guitars. I don't want to pay crazy amounts. I don't think, in my opinion, I will never pay over $2,000 for a guitar. That's just me. Once you hit to that limit, I'm done. You know, I won't ever spend any more than that, you know. As a matter of fact, my most expensive guitar I own is my James Hetfield Signature Series guitar, and that's probably going to be the most expensive guitar I ever own, you know. So, anyway, again, thoughts down below. You guys know what to do to help out the channel. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I look forward to reading your guys' comments and your thoughts about what I'm talking about in this video. And just keep rocking out there, and we'll see you guys on the next video.